do that work for someone else. There are 3 other lies or stumbling blocks that I think pertain to women in particular. The first one is there seems to be this idea out there, and I see evidence of it regularly. One evidence of it was just in the airport today. I saw a promo poster for a TV show called Pretty Little Liars, and there were four women on this poster. And that ties in with my first point here, that I think very often women feel pressure to masquerade, misrepresent, and even lie about who they really are, or to pretend that things that are really important to them, well, maybe not so important, because they're so attached to an outcome called marriage or being with someone so they're no longer lonely, that they get lost in that and forget who they really are. And I want to tell a story. Well, let me back up 1 minute here. If you're looking for drama or short-term excitement, then I guess misrepresenting yourself can be a recipe for success. But if you're looking for intimacy and connection, especially long-term relationships, it is a recipe for disaster. Because what is intimacy? It is revealing and showing who we really are to another person, and having that be respected and held in sacred regard. I want to share a story of a young woman that I met last year, and I'm going to title this story The Hot Mama Story, and I hope that's not offensive. You'll find out why in a minute. But I met Carrie, that's not her real name, and comically, I was asked to help her with a computer problem, which, if you know me, my brother's an IT guy, and he just would laugh his head off if he knew I was asked to help anyone with anything technological. But I was asked to help Carrie with a computer problem, and I went to her home, and I flipped up her laptop. She handed it to me. I wasn't being nosy, I promise. I flipped it up, and I could see that she was working on a MySpace page. And her profile name was Hot Mama. And her picture, and I looked at this, I was a little stunned by it. I looked at her picture, and I looked at her. I looked at the picture, and I looked at her. These 2 people could not have been further apart. She wasn't wearing clothing I'd ever seen her wear day to day. It was a very provocative, and I would even suggest seductive picture. In my estimation, it was just a dreadful portrayal of this attractive, smart young woman. And as I asked Carrie, I said, what is this about? I mean, she knew what I do for a living, so you have to expect to get razzed pretty hard. If you give me your laptop and have that hot mama picture on it, you're going to get razzed really hard. So I said, what is this about? And she started to open up and say, I just am really lonely. It's been so long since anyone has asked me out on a date. And I feel pressured to use some of the online dating avenues that maybe that will help. And I said, Carrie, let's break this down a little bit. And this was a smart gal in her early 30s, working in the airline industry. And I said, share with me some of the qualities that you're looking for in Mr. Right for you. And her list of qualities, I would bet, is very similar to all of the if we did a group list, many of the qualities on her list would be on our shared list. And I said, do you really think that Mr. Right, as you've described him, is going to be online perusing Hot Mama? I don't think so. I think you're setting yourself up for even greater loneliness and disappointment. With Hot Mama as your profile, you're more apt to attract Lustful Dude, which is an even more hideous name. And if anyone's Lustful Dude out here on your profile, please, it's just so tacky. Please change it immediately. So she realized that there was some wisdom in what we were talking about, and she made some changes. Sometimes we have to make changes in our approach with dating. Maybe there's something we are doing that's shooting ourselves in the foot. But don't make changes in your approach that are contrary to who you really are, because that's never going to lead you to true intimacy. I like a quote that by Dr. Seuss that he wrote several years ago where he said, "Be who you are, say what you feel, because those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind." And I would add, those that you are connecting to in an authentic way will not only not mind, but will value